everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. In today's video we're going to be taking a closer look at the Calibro Mirrored diving mask. So this is a very low profile mask. It's more designed for free divers, but by all means you can use this while scuba diving because it has a very clever system on the inside that actively helps prevent your lenses from fogging up. This is the mirrored lenses version, so it's not the strongest of mirror, but it does have some mirror effect. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so this is how it's going to arrive at your front door. So we have a kind of two parts sort of clamshell mask case, and it's got a decent amount of rigidity. Doesn't quite want to sit together. If you kind of like squeeze it, it kind of pops out, but it doesn't undo or anything. Yeah, decent amount of rigidity, so that's going to protect your mask from bumps and scrapes and crushing, especially when you're traveling with it, because that's the last thing that you want is for your mask inside. Someone throws a bag on top of your bag and then this gets crushed inside. But no, it's very strong, very sort of tough. It's got a little attachment loop there. You can remove that if you so wish, and just a very simple release mechanism just to get into your mask. Then on the inside, it comes with paperwork. So this is, I imagine, going to be warranty information. It doesn't really specify a lot of words and do's and don'ts about how to use your mask. Some information about different masks through the Cressi timeline. Lots of information, or sort of big attention to the fog stop, which I'll mention in the next system. And yeah, it basically shows you how fog stop effectively works, but I'll talk you through that in a second. And then of course you get your mask with a little sticker. Is it adhesive? No, it's non-adhesive, but it basically tells you not to dive headfirst into water whilst wearing it, which is always a good idea. Okay, so first of all, this is, I suppose technically you'd call it a framed mask, because it does have a separate plastic frame from the skirt, but it's just so very small and dinky that it actually sort of brings the lenses much closer to your eyes and reduces the internal volume, which is why it's more designed for free divers, because as you swim down, that tiny internal volume doesn't squeeze down, so you don't have to equalize it quite as much. So taking a closer look at the mask, so the nose pocket itself, you can see protrudes quite a lot away from the frame, and either side of the nose pocket, the silicone is actually much thinner, which is quite nice. So so equalizing is much easier, and finding that nose pocket is nice and easy. And then you have thicker sections all the way around that, just to give that nose pocket a bit of sort of structure and rigidity. The lenses themselves, tempered glass lens, but they do have a mirroring effect. Now, it's not the strongest of mirror. As you can see through the lenses from the front, but there is a slight mirror effect, especially in some lights. And if you reflect it, obviously you can sort of see it, but you can still see through it. And that means that students are going to be able to see your eyes through them, which is always encouraging. I always like a mask that my students can physically see my eyes. Because yeah, your eyes are naturally calming, and it's important for others to actually see your eyes. It does have a slight darkening effect, if you can see that through the lens, but your eyes naturally adjust to it, and what that coating does is it helps to heighten the contrast. So actually looking underwater, it's things do sort of pop out more, but it also helps to reduce glare. So if you're spending a lot of time in and around the surface with lots of bright sunlight coming down, it's helping your eyes, and it's cutting through or cutting out some of that glare, which is always a nice reprieve. The sides, the buckles themselves, so these attach via sort of silicone onto the frame of the mask. So they do bend and flex. They do also hinge as well, so that's quite nice. That buckle can sit pretty much wherever you want it to on the back of your head. And traditional ratchet system, so you pull on the strap to tighten it, and then you just lift on this little tab just to lengthen it off, and then it's just a ratchet system to adjust that, so quick and easy. The rest of the strap is pretty traditional, so you have an open section in the middle and then 2 bands either side, just to really cradle the back of your head, and at the top you have this this tab, so you can grab hold of it and just get that mask strap in the correct position, make sure it's nice and comfortable. But the biggest selling point about the Calibro is on the inside, and you might be able to see where it says fog stop. So all around the top of the nose pocket, you have this separate internal seal that's molded into the silicone, and that just seals against the top of your nose, and that way whenever you equalize your mask or just breathe out through your nose, it helps to kind of contain it, wait for that gas to cool down a little bit before it gets to the glass lenses, and that means that your masks are far slower to fog up. Even if you haven't prepared the lenses in any way and you just have the mask on your face, breathe out through your nose, they don't fog up straight away like most other masks because of this sort of separate internal fog stop technology, they call it. So very, very clever. Onto the rest of the skirt. The rest of the skirt has a black, almost sparkly finish to it, if you can see that on the camera. But you can see these ribs on the inside, which are increasing the rigidity and the kind of the structure of the mask down to down that side, so that as you go down, as that internal volume starts to shrink down, before you equalize it, the mask maintains its shape and holds its position. And then the rest of the skirt is thinner, so it can just mold to the face shape, basically. You do have a second internal seal all the way around the mask, not as prominent as a lot of scuba diving masks, but much more prominent than a lot of freediving masks, because a lot of freediving masks don't even have this, they just have a single seal. So this has a much wider sealing surface all the way around your face, trapping the air inside and stopping the water from getting in. And then just over the top lip, of course, it goes down to a single seal because you want it to be much softer to go over your top lip. Not much going on over the brow, so if you do struggle with masks touching just there on your forehead, then this one should be okay, but it's always worth trying it on for size. And then relatively small glass lenses, because it's a low profile mask, they can kind of get away with smaller lenses compared to scuba diving masks. Because the lenses are that much closer to your eye, your field of vision actually increases. Not to say that this has a huge field of vision, but it does increase it compared to a traditional sized mask with lenses of this size. Right, so let's review the Cressi Calibro Mirrored Mask. So first of all, who is this for? So the Calibro is made for freedivers, people who want a low internal volume mask, but this is the sort of the HD version where it has slightly mirrored lenses. Now it's not a UV cut, so it's not cutting out any particular wavelengths. They're not acting like sunglasses, that UV light is still getting through, but it is acting to sort of help reduce some of the glare, which is quite nice. You can still wear this while scuba diving. The only downside, or the main downside, is that it has that lower field of view because it's a low volume mask, typically has smaller glass lenses, so actually your peripheral vision is sacrificed for a low internal volume. So with masks, we rank them on 4 different categories and then a 5th for overall. So we're looking at the field of view, the general field of view, so what you can see under the water. Then we're looking at the comfort, because this is sticking on your face for about a good hour or so at a time, so it's got to be nice and comfortable. The extras and the features that are sort of on the mask and what comes with it. The cost, because obviously cost is important. And then we sum all them up and then we put that into the overall score. So first of all, the field of view. So marks out of 5, I've only given it a 2. Not saying that that's a bad score, it's just that, yeah, it's a low internal volume mask. So that means that whilst, yes, the field of view is increased by bringing the lenses closer, it is a limited field of view, especially over the top. When you compare it to a lot of scuba diving masks, they tend to have a lot more visibility going upwards and to the side. So when you put this on, you will, if you're looking to one side and looking straight up, you are going to see the size of this mask. There's no real sort of way around this. It's just, this is what low profile masks are like. But we do have to rank it against the rest of scuba diving masks. Then we're looking at the comfort. So I gave this a 3, so it's okay. It's not the most comfortable mask in the world because it's only a single layer of silicone, but that's not to say that it's an uncomfortable mask. It seals very quickly and easily, and it is comfortable when it's on. It's just the silicone itself, it could be a little bit softer, and it could have extra features. It could have a neoprene slap strap. It's a lot of things that it could have, but as soon as you start adding these extra features, then the cost starts to go up. So it's that tie-off between the two. When we're talking about extras, so I've given this a 4 out of 5 for extras, mainly because of that fog stop seal. So a lot of masks, they'll come with neoprene replacement straps, or they'll come with nicer boxes, but that's why it's only got a 4, but it's got a 4 because of this internal seal. And this is the first mask that I've seen with this internal seal that separates the nose pocket from the rest of the mask, so that when you exhale through your nose, it doesn't fog up. And it does truly work. It's not one of those fad things that that manufacturers just put on masks and just say, yeah, this is the next best thing, and it doesn't actually work, because this one does. And I was kind of amazed when I first used it, especially on a brand new mask straight out of the box without any kind of treatment to the lenses. It took quite a while for me to actually get it to fog up when it was seated correctly. So yeah, very, very clever design. And then the cost. So the cost of this mask is actually quite low. When you compare this in like general mask ranges, especially for one with some kind of treated lens, this is a very inexpensive mask, and it sits in a very sensible price range of what I would call sort of serious masks, and the overall finish to the mask is quite high. The silicone itself has this very nice soft matte feel to it. The buckles are very nice, and you'll see these on most of their sort of higher end masks. The strap itself very comfortable. So yeah, all in all, as far as sort of cost, it's sitting at a really nice price point. So I actually gave it 5 out of 5 for that. And all in all, it gave you an overall rank of 7 out of 10, which is pretty good. The only places where it falls down is where you compare it to a lot of traditional big scuba mask in that field of view, and in the comfort, just because it's not really features that you'd expect on a mask in this price range. But we do have to compare it to the rest of the range of masks. But yeah, you will find masks with wider field of views, but they'll have a greater internal volume. It's always that trade-off. And with comfort, it's a trade-off with the price, because sure, Cressi could have put much softer silicone just around the edges, but then the price of the mask goes up. So it's always that kind of trade-off. So actually it sits in a really nice place, and it's a good all-rounder. You can primarily, it's made for freediving, so a small mask, but yeah, I'd be happy wearing the scuba diving as well. So yeah, if you're in the market for a low profile mask, something with treated lenses but not UV treated lenses, then yeah, it's definitely worth checking out the Cressi Calibro Mirrored. Okay, so that's the Cressi Calibro Mirrored Mask, a great low volume mask, good sort of product finish to it. All the edges have a decent finish to it. The main selling point is in those glass lenses and in that fog stop technology that to date is only available in the Calibro, and that does make a big difference to your diving, because even if your lenses aren't perfectly treated, it's still going to slow them from fogging up when you exhale through your nose. So definitely worth checking out. There's going to be more information on the website simplyscuba.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, just click on the link down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving.